Kumasi. I especially welcome you all to the Tertiary Business Science Challenge 2025 version 7.0. In the Northern Zone, the SD Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies defeated the defending champions, the University for Development Studies. SD Dombo, together with the Tamale Technical University, have qualified to represent the Northern Zone at the National Championship. We've turned our attention now to the Middle Zone, where we have great institutions who do battle to determine who becomes the zonal champion. Again, to determine which three institutions will represent the zone at the National Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, our first contest will be between two great institutions with different experiences, different fortunes in this competition. For the Christian Service University, it is their maiden appearance on this stage. We don't know what they are made of yet, yes, indeed, but they've promised that they are going to defend their institution to the last round. They have the hope and belief that they are going to win this one. Of course, you cannot begrudge them. They've prepared for this one. They are led here by an able team of coaches who have ensured that the team is well prepared for this encounter. For the University for Energy and Natural Resources, they've been here for the past two editions. They joined TBSC in 2023. In 2023, they qualified to the National Championship, yes. Last year, 2024, they were the runners-up at the zonal level. And then they qualified to the National Championship, where they missed out on the semi-final place after they lost, shall I use the word unfortunately, to UDS at the quarter-final stage. This year, they want to right all the wrongs of last year. But of course, to do that, they will need to do battle with the Christian Service University, an institution that is determined to also make it to the National Championship for this year's competition. Ladies and gentlemen, this promises to be exciting. It is going to be cagey. It is going to be full of violence. Of course, you know my name. My name is Al Hassan Yusuf Traule, and I love academic violence. Let's have some violence this morning. I mentioned to you that we have two great institutions. One is going to sit on my left, the other on my right. These two institutions have earned the right to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome contestants from the two institutions to join me upstage. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome. All right, so your microphones down, please put them on. Yes, and speak into the microphones with me. You know, how was your journey from Sunyani to Kumasi?
Okay, thank you very much. Our journey has been good, and as we are here, we've prepared well, and we have to progress. As last year we reached quarterfinals, and unfortunately for us, we couldn't proceed to the next stage. So we are hoping that this time around we go further to the finals.
What is the target for 2025?
Our target is that we are going to the finals.
That is good, yes. And of course, I believe you are well prepared for that.
Yes, please.
We will see if they are indeed well prepared for this contest and this competition. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, please, I'm David Ampabenin. I'm Resource Enterprise and Entrepreneurship Level 300.
Global Free Fabwat in BSc Accounting second year.
Colin Thomas, BSc Accounting.
So, ladies and gentlemen, UNAIR wants to test our pulse. They've decided to bring level 200 and level 300 contestants on stage. We'll see what they have on offer. Gentlemen, you're welcome once again. Christian Service University. Finally, you are here. Please introduce yourselves.
My name is Ajua Frandewa from Pong.
Your
Marketing
course?
student, level 300.
Marketing student level 300. Okay.
My name is Abbas Seidu, level 200.
Yeah, speak into it. It's on. Put it on again and speak louder.
My name is Seidu Abbas, level 200 BBA.
Okay.
My name is Bawa Garabia, level 100 account.
All right. So when I thought was wild with their level 200 representations, here we are with a level 100 student on stage. This is interesting. So you were in level 100 last year when you joined the platform. Okay. So you're welcome, Abbas, and then the team members. What should we expect from you on TBSC?
Okay, we are here to battle with UNE, and we are here for the trophy. God willing.
You are welcome once again. We will see how that goes.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, they've taken positions. They are ready for battle. A faith-based institution competing against an established public university from the Bono region. A school from the Ashanti region competing against one school from the Bono region. Like we said, this is going to go straight down to the wire. Two schools who are determined to win the trophy this year. One said they will be in the finals. The other says they will win the trophy. We'll see which of them is going to have a very good prophecy. This is going to be interesting. We'll see how that goes. The contest is going to be organized in 6 rounds. Round 1 is on theory, where we'll test the understanding of basic principles and concepts in business. Round 2 will involve calculations, where they are free to use their calculators. Round 3 is a business case of the day, where we are going to give them a common problem and they are supposed to work as a team to come up with one solution which we'll compare with what we have. Round 4 is a graphic business segment, where we are going to test their understanding of business news. For the purpose of this competition, we are testing them on the graphic business newspaper. The 5th round will be true or false segments, where we will ask or read out some statement to them. They are just to tell us if the statement is true or false. Very simple. The 6th round will be the Riddles segment, where I'm going to give them a set of clues, and they are supposed to tell me who or what I am referring to. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have on offer, and this is the middle zone. Let's see how this contest goes. Are we ready? CSU. Are you ready, UNE? All right, so please, you do well to speak into the microphone. It is only then that marks can be awarded to you. Speak into the microphone as loudly and as clear as possible. The program is brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. Our sponsors include MTN Ghana, Compu Ghana, PwC, Guel Ghana, Piva Beverages, Glyco Life, as well as GCB Bank. Our media partners, Daily Graphic and Graphic Online. Remember that the program is streaming live on Facebook, Daily Graphic Ghana, as well as on YouTube. Please, are we ready? Ladies and gentlemen, please show some love as we begin the middle zone contest. Round 1. Let me welcome you with a question. Yes, common preamble to both schools, but I'm starting from my right, and that is to Christian Service University. Common preamble. You have to identify the management theory that is being applied in the scenario that I'm going to read out to you, and justify your answer briefly. Identify the management theory that is being applied in the scenario and justify your answer briefly. All right. CSU. A factory manager at Tech Parts Incorporated analyzes each worker's tasks with time and motion studies and sets strict performance standards. Workers are paid based on outputs and tasks are highly specialized to increase efficiency. Identify the management theory that is in this scenario and justify your answer. I take it again. A factory manager at Tech Parts Incorporated analyzes each worker's tasks with time and motion studies and sets strict performance standards. Workers are paid based on outputs and tasks are highly specialized to increase efficiency.
Tactical management. The manager would look through what the workers are doing so that he will find this by doing analysis on their efforts.
That is not correct. Bonus is available.
Okay, this is theory X. It explains that human beings or employees, unless you coerce or enforce strict regulations on them, they will not work.
No, I'm not accepting that. It is a scientific management theory. That is what I wanted. Now, your major question, you know, at HBC, the HR manager notices a decline in employee morale. Instead of increasing wages, she introduces team bonding sessions, recognizes individual achievements, and encourages open communication. As a result, employee satisfaction and productivity improves. Tell me the management theory that is being applied here and justify your answer. I take it again. At HBC Limited, the HR manager notices a decline in employee morale. Instead of increasing wages, she introduces team bonding sessions, recognizes individual achievements, and encourages open communication. As a result, employee satisfaction and productivity improves.
Okay, this management theory is the new classical, which comprises of the human relations school of
Please
thought.
speak out and be.
So the since the manager is focusing on the employee morale, he is targeting only the human aspect, which is the human relation school of thought theory.
Yes, that is correct. The human relations theory is correct, and that is for 3 points. For our next set of questions, identify the core information security principle being compromised or upheld in a scenario and justify your answer briefly. That is the preamble. You have one attempt only. Identify the core information security principle. There are 3 main information security principles. Okay. You have to identify the one that is being compromised or upheld in the scenario and justify your answer. You have one attempt only. All right, so Christian Service University. A university system allows students to view and edit their own academic records, but accidentally grants some students access to others' records. What principle is being breached? A university system allows students to view and edit their own academic records, but accidentally grants some students access to others' records. What principle is being breached here?
Confidentiality principle.
Yes, that is correct. Confidentiality is correct. Now to you, Yune. A database administrator discovers that product pricing data was altered without proper authorization. This impacts the accuracy of the company's records, which information security principle is compromised. I take it again. A database administrator discovers that product pricing data was altered without proper authorization. This impacts the accuracy of the company's records.
Okay, that's the integrity principle.
Yes, integrity. For the next set of questions, common preamble, classify the price elasticity of demand in a scenario and justify your answer. Classify the price elasticity of demand in the scenario I'll give you and justify your answer briefly. I'm beginning with Christian Service University. A software company increases the price of its monthly subscription by 10%. As a result, the number of subscribers drops by only 5%. Classify the price elasticity of demand and justify your answer. A software company increases the price of its monthly subscription by 10%. As a result, the number of subscribers drops by only 5%. Classify the price elasticity of demand in the scenario. Justify your answer. Even bailed out, bonus is available to UNE.
Okay, the coefficient price elasticity is 0.5%, so it shows inelastic demand.
That is correct. Inelastic demand is correct. I hope you know there's a timer. Can you see the timer? Okay. UNE, your major question. A premium music streaming app increases its monthly fee from 5 CD to 6 CD. Following the increase, all student subscribers cancel their subscription. Classify the price elasticity of demand and justify your answer. A premium music streaming app increases its monthly fee from 5 CD to 6 CD. Following the increase, all student subscribers cancel their subscription. Determine the price elasticity of demand in the scenario and justify your answer.
Okay, it has elastic demand. So when it has elastic demand, that's why the increase in the price leads to an increase, the demand decrease or dropped.
I'll not accept that. Bonus is available. You've also been bailed out. It's perfectly elastic. Perfectly elastic. Okay, once it was increased, everybody stopped the subscription. So it becomes perfectly elastic, not just elastic. For the next set of questions, I'm going to begin with you, UNE. Next set of questions, I'm beginning with UNE. Common preamble. Identify the investment appraisal method that is being used in the scenario and justify your answer briefly. Identify the investment appraisal method that is being used in the scenario and justify your answer. UNE. A company is evaluating two mutually exclusive projects with different initial costs. To determine which project creates more value per unit of investment, the finance team compares the present value of each project's future cash inflows to its initial cost and selects the project with the higher ratio. I'll take it again. A company is evaluating two mutually exclusive projects with different initial costs. To determine which project creates more value per unit of investment, the finance team compares the present value of each project's future cash inflow to its initial cost and select the project with a higher ratio.
Okay, so they are adopting internal rate of return approach.
That is not correct. Even bailed out. Bonus for CSU. Even bailed out. It is a profitability index. The profitability index. Now your major question, Christian Service University. A manufacturing firm wants to select the most profitable long-term projects. It discounts all future cash flows to their present value using the firm's cost of capital and chooses a project with the highest resulting value after subtracting the initial investment. A manufacturing firm wants to select the most profitable long-term projects. It discounts all future cash flows to their present value using the firm's cost of capital and chooses a project with the highest resulting value after subtracting the initial investment.
Payback period.
That is not correct. You have one other chance. You've been bailed out. Bonus for you, Nay.
So it is internal rate of return.
Maybe.
Uh,
It's not. The net present value. Net present value. NPV. Anyway, let's do our last set of questions for this round. We are doing something on marketing, extended marketing mix. Identify the specific elements of the extended marketing mix that is being applied in the scenario and justify your answer. Identify the specific element of the extended marketing mix being applied in the scenario and justify your answer. Still beginning with you, Yune. A high-end spa redesigns its interior with soothing colors, aromatherapy, and brand amenities to create a lasting impression on clients. A high-end spa redesigns its interior with soothing colors, aromatherapy, and branded amenities to create a lasting impression on clients. What specific element of the extended marketing mix are we talking about here? Justify your answer.
Sir, this, please.
That is not correct. You have one other chance.
okay, this is the physical evidence. So they are improving upon the quality of the product to attract.
Yes, physical evidence is correct. Now to you, Christian Service University. An airline introduces a digital self-check-in system, baggage tracking, and real-time boarding notifications to streamline its passenger handling. An airline introduces a digital self-check-in system, baggage tracking, and real-time boarding notifications to streamline its passenger handling. Identify the specific element of the extended marketing mix that is being described.
Product. They improved upon the product to make it easy for customers.
That is not correct. You have one other chance. Even bailed out. Bonus available to Yune.
That is people, because they are collaborating with them to make sure they satisfy their needs efficiently.
No, we didn't even talk about people here. It is a process. The process. On that note, we come to the end of round one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tertiary Business Science Challenge brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with ICAG. I'm Christian Service. How was the first round, your first ever round in the Tertiary Business Science Challenge? How is the seat like?
Okay, so we are just settling, so it's fine.
It's easier to watch on the screen, eh? You think you have all the answers. You know, how is the experience like? How did round one go?
Sir, it is okay.
All right, so let's take the results for round 1. At the end of round 1, Christian Service University had 3 points. The University of Energy and Natural had UNE had 10 points. We are going into round 2, calculations. You are free to use your calculators. In this round, you have 30 seconds within which to give an answer. 2 attempts only at a major question. If it's a bonus, you have 5 seconds to give an answer. And then in 1 attempt only. Each of you have the opportunity of answering 5 major questions. Please, are we okay? Are you okay, Yune? This time we are beginning with you, the University of for Energy and Natural Resources. Is it of energy or for energy? Of energy and natural resources. Yune, let's begin with you. Let's do some cost and management accounting. A company has fixed cost of 30,000 cedis, variable cost per unit of 10 cedis, and a selling price per unit of 20 cedis. Calculate the required sales volume to achieve a target profit of 15,000 cedis. I take it again. A company has fixed cost of 30,000 cedis, variable cost per unit of 10 cedis, and a selling price per unit of 20 cedis. Calculate the required sales volume to achieve a target profit of 15,000 cedis.
Okay, it is.
You have 90,000.
It is what?
90,000.
That is not correct. You have one other chance.
Okay, it is 4,500.
Yes, that is correct. 4,500 units is correct. Your major question, Christian Service University. Company Z or Z wants to achieve a target profit of 50,000 cedis, 50,000. They have fixed cost of 40,000 cedis, variable cost per unit of 12 cedis, and a selling price per unit of 18 cedis. Calculate the required sales volume. Company Z wants to achieve a target profit of 50,000 cedis. They have fixed cost of 40,000 cedis, variable cost per unit of 12 cedis, and a selling price per unit of 18 cedis. Calculate the required sales volume. That is not correct. You have one other chance. You've been bailed out. Bonus for UNE.
Okay, 15,000.
Yes, 15,000 is correct. Next set of questions, still beginning with UNE. A tenant pays 84,000 cedis rent in advance on May 1st, 2024 for 12 months. What is the earned and unearned income at 31st December 2024? A tenant pays 84,000 cedis rent in advance on May 1st, 2024 for 12 months. What is the earned income and unearned income as at 31st December 2024?
So the earned income is 49,000 and the unearned income is 35,000 Ghana cedis.
That is not correct. Even bailed out. Bonus for CSU. Question: Christian Service University. A company received a commission income of 48,000 cedis on October 1, 2024, covering 8 months. What is the income earned and unearned portion at 31st December 2024? A company received a commission income of 48,000 cedis on October 1, 2024, covering 8 months. What is the income earned and unearned portions at 31st December 2024? Bonus for UNE.
So we have the earned income to be 18,000 and the unearned income to be 30,000.
Yes, that is correct. It's not easy. Yes. Next set of questions. I think we've done 3 sets already. No, 2 sets. So the next set of questions, still beginning with you, UNE. A company is evaluating the total cost of ownership for a delivery van to be used over a 5-year period. The details are as follows. Purchase price 30,000 cedis. Annual operating cost 2,000 cedis. Total maintenance cost over 5 years is 5,000 cedis. Insurance cost 1,200 cedis per year. Estimated disposal cost at the end of year 5 is 1,000 cedis. Calculate the total cost of ownership over 5 years. Ignore the time value of money. I take it again. A company is evaluating the total cost of ownership for a delivery van to be used over a 5-year period. The details are as follows. Purchase price 30,000 cedis. Annual operating cost 2,000 cedis. Total maintenance cost over 5 years is 5,000 cedis. Insurance cost 1,200 cedis per year. Estimated disposal cost at the end of year 5 is 1,000 cedis. Calculate the total cost of ownership over 5 years. Ignore the time value of money.
Okay, so we have 37,000 Ghana cedis.
That is not correct. You have one other chance.
Okay, 39,000.
No, I'm not taking that. Bonus is available to Christian Service University.
3,000. 36,300. 36,200.
That is not correct. That is not correct. It is 52,000. 52,000 cedis. Okay. So I'll be with you shortly. Okay. So we can go on. It's 52,000 cedis. Christian Service University, your major question. A company buys a car for 28,000 cedis. It incurs annual operating cost of 1,800 cedis. Insurance of 1,000 cedis per year. and maintenance cost of 3,000 cedis over the 4 years. The disposal cost is 500 cedis. Calculate the total cost of ownership over 4 years. A company buys a car for 28,000 cedis. It incurs annual operating cost of 1,800 cedis, insurance of 1,000 cedis per year, and maintenance cost of 3,000 cedis over 4 years. The disposal cost is 500 cedis. You have to calculate the total cost of ownership over the 4 years.
We got 8,575.
That is not correct. Bonus is available to to University of Energy and Natural Resources.
Okay, it's 31,500.
No, that is also not correct. It is 42,700. 42,700. So the total cost of ownership will basically add up all the costs. So I'm surprised you're having difficulty. So with the first illustration, the purchase price is 30,000 cedis. We are told that there's annual operating cost of 2,000 cedis. So over the 5 years, there will be total operating cost of 10,000 cedis. You add that to the initial 30, we are 40. We are also told that there's total maintenance cost of 5,000. So we add that, we have 45. There's insurance cost of 1,200 cedis per year. Multiply that by 5 years, that is 6,000. So we add that to the 45, we have 51,000. And there's disposal cost of 1,000. That gives us 52,000. Next set of questions. We are beginning with Christian Service University. Christian Service, you are beginning this round for us. Let's do some financial management. Okay. All right, so let's take this. Josephine is saving towards her wedding. She starts with 50 cedis in January and increases her deposit by 10 cedis every month for 12 months. Calculate the total amount Josephine will have by the end of December. Josephine is saving towards her wedding. She starts with 50 cedis in January and increases her deposit by 10 cedis every month for 12 months. Calculate the total amount Josephine will save by the end of December.
She will earn 170 cedis.
That is not correct.
Yes. 160.
That is also not correct. You've exhausted your chances. Bonus is available to University of Energy and Natural Resources. You can build out. She'll earn more than that. Josephine, how much will you earn? Can I come again? All right, so we go on. It is actually 1,260. 1,260 is what she will earn. Okay, so I'll explain later. Are you okay? You know. So we can go on. Dr. Bohini begins savings for his younger sister's university education. He starts by depositing 10 cedis in the first month and decides to increase his deposit by 5 cedis every month. He continues this for 10 months. Calculate the total amount Dr. Bohini will have saved by the end of the 10 months. Dr. Bohini begins savings for his younger sister's university education. He starts by depositing 10 cedis in the first month and decides to increase his deposit by 5 cedis each month. He continues this for 10 months. You have to determine the total amount he will have saved by the end of the 10th month.
We have 325 cities.
Yes, that is correct. 325 cedis is correct. So it looks simple, but you have to use the sum of series and sequence. Okay. Last set of questions for this round. I want you to get this for me. Christian Service University. A company in Ghana sells goods and services worth 120,000 cedis. This is exclusive of all taxes and levies. You are required to determine the total invoice amount, including all levies and VAT. A company in Ghana sells goods and services worth 120,000 cedis. This is exclusive of all taxes and levies. You are required to determine the total invoice amount, including the levies and VAT. If you bailed out, bonus for University of Energy and Natural Resources.
135,000.
No, please, that is not correct. The answer is 146,280. 146,280. Now your major question. This time your figure is 80,000 cedis. The company makes sales worth 80,000 cedis, exclusive of all taxes and levies. Calculate the total invoice amount, including NHIL, Get Fund, COVID, and VAT.
Okay, we have 97,520.
Yes, that is correct. 97,520. On that note, we come to the end of round 2. Yes, the stage is very hot. Yes. You know, how is it going for you?
We are still building momentum.
Okay. I wish you well in your momentum building. Christian Service University, how is it going?
We are trying to get used to it.
You better get used to it fast, very fast. We have 4 more rounds to go, so there's still hope. 4 more for Christian Service. Yes. Anyway, the scores for round 2. At the end of round 2, Christian Service had no points. University of Energy and Natural Resources had 11 points. We are going into round 3, which is the business case of the day. In this round, I'm giving both of you a common problem. You are supposed to work as a team and come out with one solution, which we'll compare with what we have, and then marks awarded out of 10. You have 10 minutes within which to do this. Please pick up your problem. It should be in front of you in an envelope. It is very simple, straightforward. Something on internal controls. Are we good? So let's read it together. You are the lead auditor for a manufacturing company. During the planning phase of the audit, you are required to assess the company's internal control systems. Explain the importance of internal controls in the audit process. Describe your responsibilities as an auditor and evaluating the internal control system under relevant auditing standards. Very simple and straightforward. This is our business case of the day. You may start working now. You have 10 minutes. Okay, please stop work. Hand over your solution. The way you are laughing, I'm sure you have something good. Okay. Thank you very much. So this was quite straightforward. Let's see what. So it was a question on internal controls. Internal controls basically are systems, policies, processes that are put in place within an organization to ensure that assets of the organization are protected, resources are used judiciously. So what were we expecting from them? Basically, we were expecting them to do two things for us. The first was to be able to tell us the importance of internal controls. So before one can talk about importance, I will expect you to maybe say something about what internal controls are. If you're able to put something like that together, you have a point there. In terms of the importance, there are so many reasons or benefits of having internal controls within the organization. Now, once you have internal controls, you're able to assess the risk of material misstatements, say in your financial statements. It also helps to ensure that the financial reporting is quite reliable and people can place reliance on it because it helps to ensure that the financial reports are accurate and complete. Now, once you have internal controls in place, it helps you to adhere to all applicable laws and regulatory requirements. So that's also one importance or reason. Fraud prevention and detection is very important, or is one of the key reasons why we need to have internal controls in place, as well as evaluation of the control environment. Control environment is very necessary. You want to assess the extent to which management and everyone in the organization accepts internal controls as working documents or as working policies within the organization. It helps to also influence the audit strategy. If you're able to provide any four of these, or even any that may not be listed here, we can give you the 4 points. Now, the second part of the question was to talk about the responsibilities of a lead auditor or an auditor in evaluating the internal control systems under relevant auditing standards. There are two key standards that talk about auditors' responsibilities in terms of internal controls. So what we expected them to do is to attempt to appreciate the provisions of those standards. First of all, before one can put in place any internal controls, you want to understand the control system that the entity has. So that's the first point. You want to also assess the control risk. You want to be sure that whatever controls have been put in place are effective and are able to prevent or detect any material misstatements. Documenting the understanding that you've gotten of the entity is very important. So you want to document the understanding of the key things that you have gotten with respect to the internal controls. You also want to determine whether to rely on the controls that have been put in place by the organization, communicate deficiencies, or even evaluate the impact of those controls on the audit plan that you have developed. If you're able to do this, 4 very good points, you have 4 marks as well. So that should be 10 marks. Now let's look at what our people did, beginning from the University of Energy and Natural Resources. So they attempted an explanation of what internal controls are. They are responsible for overseeing the day-to-day operations, production, marketing, and ensuring compliance within the organization. That's fine. So I'll give them 1 out of 2. In terms of the benefits or the importance, they said provides relevant information such as financial statements. The internal controls do not provide relevant information. They ensure that the financial statements are a bit reliable. So they also spoke about responsible for ensuring transparency. That's fine. Evaluating financial statements to ensure accuracy and truthfulness. That's also acceptable. Reviewing the performance of the workforce. I will accept that because we normally do performance audits, or it helps in that as well. The B part of the question, I'm not sure what they were attempting to do, but they indicated that the auditor, we are not talking about, okay. The auditor collects data on financial statements and assess the credibility and accuracy. So I want to presume that this has to do with understanding the entity. So I'll give them 1 point there. For the second point, I'm not able to accept that. For their effort, they get 5 out of 10. Christian Service University, they did not explain what internal controls are, so they don't get any marks there, but they wrote a number of importance, I think about 5 in all, to know the performance of the company financially and the performance of the output. Fine. It makes the internal auditors work well. That's also fine. They help employees manage the resources of the company. That's fine. They help in the preparation of accurate financial statements. I will accept that. And they also help prevent confidential information from getting to the public. That's fine. Now the B part of the question is where the problem begins. So I don't know whether they were still talking about the importance or whatever so they don't get anything there. But for their effort, they also get 5 out of 10. So at the end of round 3, Christian Service University College had 5 points. University of Energy and Natural Resources also had 5 points. So we are about to go into round 4, but the coaches tell me they want to effect some substitution. So if you have any substitution you want to do, please go ahead and then effect it now. Your coach doesn't want to relieve you. You're welcome, gentlemen. Speak to me. Get the microphone closer, please. You can move it. So get it closer to you. Okay. So introduce yourself.
I'm Samuel Pomboama, BSc Economics Level 300.
You are welcome, Sammy.
Thank you.
Christian service, you decided not to effect any substitution. I want to believe that the coach has faith in the top 3 on stage. Yes. Let's see how round 4 will go. Round 4 is a graphic business segment. In this round, I'm going to ask you some questions on some stories that appeared in the graphic business newspaper. We are looking at 22nd, 29th April, and 6th May editions of the newspaper. Are we ready? Each of you have the opportunity to attempt 5 major questions. For a major question, you have 10 seconds within which to give me an answer in 2 attempts only, unless otherwise indicated. For a bonus, you have 5 seconds to give an answer in 1 attempt only, unless otherwise indicated. Please, if you are ready, we begin this round from the Christian Service University. Yes. Common preamble to the 2 schools. Please take notes. Common preamble. Ruud van Nistelrooy, despite his legendary status as a striker, could not inspire an attacking revival. His tenure became defined by tactical confusion and diminishing morale. The numbers paint a grim picture. Now to you, Christian Service University, how many defeats did Leicester City suffer in the Premier League this year? That is at the time the article was written. How many defeats did Leicester City suffer in the Premier League in the year?
Four.
That cannot be correct. Even bailed out. Bonus for you, ne?
23 defeats.
Yes, 23. Your major question, you name. Now, which unwanted Premier League record did Leicester City set this year? Which unwanted Premier League record did Leicester City set this year?
Okay. They lose more games and a continuous relegation. Like
No, I'm not accepting that. Bonus for CSU. So the unwanted record is that they suffered 9 consecutive home games, or they had 9 consecutive home games without a goal, without scoring a goal. That was the unwanted Premier League record that they set. Next set of questions, also a common preamble. Presidential advisor on the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development programs, Augustus Gusitano, has urged Ghanaian businesses to elevate their game and meet international standards if they are to seize new trade opportunities amid shifting global trade alliances. He said this at a program to discuss findings of a report. I hope you are aware, you read a story like that. He gave this advice, or he mentioned this at a program to discuss findings of a report. Now, CSU, what is the title of this report that was discussed, at which he made those comments? What is the title of the report? Even bailed out. Bonus for you, ne?
The economic benefits of the 24-hour economy.
No, that is not correct. That is not correct. I'll give the answer later. Then again, the next, your major question, you know, what is the name of this program? The name of the program, not the report this time, but the program itself. So the program was to discuss a report. What is the name of the program? Bonus for CSU. All right. So the program was the UK government Jobs and Economic Transformation Program. And the report was the UK GCC's 2024 Business Environment and Competitiveness Survey report. All right. Let me get something more friendly. Okay. So the CEO of the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation, Dr. Tony Obin, has called for sustainable and meaningful collaboration among regulatory and government agencies to ensure the successful delivery of Ghana's ambitious Petroleum Hub projects. He made this comment at the corporation's first ever interagency dialogue. The panel discussion featured a number of prominent persons. Mention any two of the panel members at the dialogue and the agencies they represent. Mention any two. Okay, you all take out the agency. Mention any two of the panel members at the program. All right, so now you have your 10. There's no bonus here.
Nana Amakluchi and Brigadier General Paul Seidu. Tanya Kulono.
Yes, that is correct. Please show some love. Okay, so the next set of questions, this time we are beginning with you, Yune. It's a common preamble as well. The investor of Ghana's Cooperative Credit Union has maintained its ranking as the single largest asset-sized credit union in the country and the West African sub-region, following its surplus for 2024. The vice chairperson of the union, Professor Jemima Asabia Anderson, announced that the board would continue to invest wisely to maximize the future returns of members' investments. Mention any three strategies each the board has set out to pursue in 2025, aside from the new product that they have launched. Mention any three strategies that the board of the University of Ghana Cooperative Credit Union has set to pursue in 2025, aside the new products that were launched. UNE has been bailed out. It's your turn now, Christian Service University. Okay, they both could not answer or give any answers to their question. Maybe, are they too difficult or they are not expected? All right, so okay, let's do this. Let's do something on the National Health Insurance Scheme. So Ghana's bold ambition, this will be the last set of questions, to achieve universal health coverage is not just a policy goal, it is a moral imperative. As a nation often lauded for pioneering social policy initiatives in Africa, Ghana took a historical step in 2003 with the establishment of the National Health Insurance Scheme. A core issue lies in the sustainability and efficiency of the scheme itself. Now, many Ghanaians still pay out of pocket for essential services, especially those in the informal sector and remote communities. UNE, mention any three factors that contribute to the scheme's uneven reach. Mention any three factors that contribute to the scheme's uneven reach.
Financial constraints, limited awareness, and logistical bottlenecks.
Yes, that is correct. To you, Christian Service University. The universal health coverage is not a dream for the privileged few. It is a right for every Ghanaian. To achieve it, Ghana must go beyond policy declaration and invest in the 3 pillars. What are the 3 pillars of universal health coverage? What are the 3 pillars of universal health coverage? Christian Service University. Bonus is available to University of Energy and Natural Resources.
Equity, transparency, and innovation.
Yes, that is correct. Equity, transparency, and innovation. On that note, we come to the end of round 4. Please show some love. It's not easy being up here. Yes. So we wait for the scores for round 4, but we are reminded that we have a number of sponsors, including MTN Ghana, Compi Ghana, PwC, GCB Bank. We have Glycolife, we have Piva Beverages. We also have Gwel Ghana. The program is brought to us by ICAG and Graphic Business. Our media partners are Daily Graphic and Graphic Online. The program is streaming live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Do we have our results for round 4? Let's go on straight ahead. At the end of round 4, Christian Service University had no points. UNE had 6 points. All right, so we will check the result for round 4 later and announce them again. We can move on to round 5 and look at the true or false segment. Round 5 is a true or false segment where we are going to read out some statements to our schools and they are to tell us if the statement is true or false. You have 10 seconds within which to give an answer. If you get it correct, you have 2 points. If you get it wrong, you suffer a penalty of -1. You may decide not to answer, in which case it can go on to the other school under the same conditions. Please, are you ready? All right. So the round 4 result before we go on to round 5. Christian Service University had no points. University of Energy and Natural Resources had 8 points. True or false segments. Each of you will attempt 5 major questions. We are beginning this round from University of Energy and Natural Resources. UNE, let's begin with you. Unit cost decreases indefinitely as output increases, assuming fixed costs are constant. Unit cost decreases indefinitely as output increases, assuming fixed costs are constant.
It is false.
Yes, it is false. CSU. Cost units can be expressed in both physical and monetary units. Cost units can be expressed in both physical and monetary terms.
True statement.
No, it's false. It's not a true statement. You know, a debit note issued by a buyer is considered an internal source document and must be supported by external evidence for audit purposes. A debit note issued by a buyer is considered an internal source document and must be supported by external evidence for audit purposes.
It is true.
Yes, it is true. Christian Service University, bank statements are considered both a source document and a form of independent third-party confirmation. Bank statements are considered both a source document and a form of independent third-party confirmation.
It's true statement.
Yes, that is correct. Risk management is primarily concerned with maximizing returns on investment. Risk management is primarily concerned with maximizing returns on investment.
That is false.
Yes, it's false. Christian Service University, risk management is only relevant at the execution stage of an investment decision, not during the strategic planning. Risk management is only relevant at the execution stage of an investment decision, not during strategic planning.
It's false statement.
False statement is correct. Next set of questions, we are beginning with you, Christian Service University. Marketing intermediaries, such as wholesalers and retailers, are external to the organization, but still considered part of the microenvironment. Marketing intermediaries, such as wholesalers and retailers, are external to the organization, but still considered part of the microenvironment.
True.
Yes, it's true. Suppliers, intermediaries, and the media are all classified as public stakeholders in the macro environment. Suppliers, intermediaries, and the media are all classified as public stakeholders in the macro environment.
It's true.
No, it's not true. Last set of questions, still beginning with Christian Service University. For businesses, capital gains are included in the business's annual returns and taxed accordingly. For businesses, the capital gains are included in the business's annual returns and taxed accordingly.
It's true statement.
Yes, it's a true statement. For individuals, capital gain is treated as an isolated transaction and taxed at a rate of 15% of the net gains. For individuals, capital gain is treated as an isolated transaction and taxed at a rate of 15% of the net gains.
It is false.
No. It was supposed to be true. On that note, we come to the end of round 5. We come to the end of round 5. We have one more round to go. That is the final round, which will involve riddles. This is still the semi-final contest between the University of Energy and Natural Resources and the Christian Service University. This is the MiddleZone Tertiary Business Science Challenge 2025 version 7.0. A place at the zonal final is at stake. The winner qualifies automatically to the zonal final. Who wins this contest? Who wins this contest, ladies and gentlemen? At the end of round 5, the scores. At the end of round 5, the University of Energy and Natural Resources had 4 points. The Christian Service University had 7 points. So we go on to the final round. Riddles. There will be 3 riddles in all. The riddles are open to both of you. You are supposed to indicate the school that rings the bell first will be allowed to answer. You are supposed to indicate your readiness by ringing the bell. Let me hear the bell from Christian Service. All right. And so whilst we are waiting for the bell to ring from Christian Service University, of course, that is from Christian Service University. That is from UNE. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, riddles. Are you ready? 15 points are up for grabs. If you get it correct on the first clue, you have 5 points. Correct on the second clue is 4 points. Answering on any other clue thereafter is 3 points. Riddle number 1. I am a concept in organizations and management. One of the 14 principles of management by Henry Fayol. 2. I'm usually seen in highly competitive industries where companies specialize in similar products to their competition, although I am very common among small businesses and startups. 3. My main advantages are that I facilitate easier decision making, clear chain of command, and help businesses achieve unified vision and purpose.
It is unity of command.
No, it is not unity of command. I continue for the benefit of only Christian Service University. 4. I am the organizational structure where a small handful of individuals make most of the decisions in a company. 5. I refer to the process in which activities involving planning and decision making within an organization are concentrated with a specific leader or location. Who am I, or what am I? You can press it or it will come. Go ahead with your answer.
Unity of direction.
Maybe. No. Centralization. Centralization is what I was expecting. Okay. Riddle number 2. Riddle number 2. Let's do some taxation. I am a type of income to be subject to tax as identified by Section 3 of the Income Tax Act, 2015 Act 896. For a non-resident person, I am that person's income from Ghana. But for a non-resident person who has a permanent establishment in Ghana, I am the income of the permanent establishment. 3. I am the income of a person from any employment, business, or investment. 4. For a resident person, I am that person's worldwide income from all sources. And 5. In calculating me, income from employment, business, and investment shall be classified separately. Who am I? The answer is accessible income. Accessible income. The last riddle and the last question for this contest, ladies and gentlemen. I am a foundational principle in internal control frameworks, such as the COSO framework and ISO 31000. Whether in finance, procurement, IT, or operations, I must be clearly defined, documented, and enforced. In the political realm, I can be seen to apply in democracies where the government is separated into 3 independent branches: a legislature, an executive, and a judiciary. I can also be described as an administrative control used by organizations to prevent fraud, sabotage, theft, misuse of information, and other security compromises. 5. I help prevent errors and fraud in an organization by ensuring that no single individual has control over all aspects of a financial or operational transaction. Christian Service University.
Audit. Auditing.
No, that is not correct. You also rang the bell, Yune.
Checks and balances.
No, I'm not taking that. The answer is segregation of duties or separation of duties. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the contest between these two great institutions. Yes, it's not been easy. So for this round, nobody had any of the riddles correct, so I can give my own scores. We'll wait for the final scores, but before the final scores come, let me find out from Yune. How do you assess your performance in this contest?
Well, it's not up to our satisfaction, but we hope that next contest we will improve upon it.
What do you think went wrong?
Okay. Some of the questions we had it in mind, but we used to communicate or discuss on it before. When we realized the time is almost up, so that's what went on wrong.
Okay, that's fine. So once you identify the challenges, I want to believe you work on them before the next contest. Remember, the next contest will be the zonal final. So if you have any challenges, you better work on them ASAP. To you, Christian Service University, Baptism of Fire. You are welcome to the hot seats. You are welcome to the Tertiary Business Science Challenge. How did the contest go for you?
It went well, but it went well. Yes, we are happy that we've ended it to the end. We trust that we'll do well according to our preparation. We understand ourselves and how we've performed. We understand it very well. So yes, we understand everything. So it's fine.
So you're okay
Yes,
with
we are
whatever
okay.
results that come up?
Yes, we are okay.
All right, that's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, they accept the results. Let me see the results. Okay. At the end of the contest, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this contest, Christian Service University, who are making their maiden appearance at the Tertiary Business Science Challenge, indeed came up against an institution that has been here for the past 2 or so editions. An institution that were at the quarterfinal of the national championship last year. Of course, it wasn't going to be easy. The scores at the end of round 6. Christian Service University had 15 points. University of Energy and Natural Resources had 38 points. So by these results, the University of Energy and Natural Resources has qualified to the MiddleZone final. Congratulations to you, Yune. And by extension, you also qualify as one of the representatives of this zone at the national event. Congratulations to you, University of Energy and Natural Resources. Christian Service University, hard luck. I believe it wasn't easy on your maiden appearance. It happens sometimes. You learn from the mistakes and hopefully you do better. But what I have to tell you is that, yes, despite the result not being what you expected, I'm glad to inform you that you've also made it to the zonal final. Congratulations. So, that is going to be tougher than today's. You will need to prepare better and get ready for it. I hope you are ready for that. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, the contest has come to an end. We have a full lineup for our middle zone final. 3 great institutions. We have the Christian Service University College who at their first attempt will qualify to the zonal final. Yes, aside the Christian Service University, we had last year's runners-up or runner-up. The University of Energy and Natural Resources qualifying again to the finals. Then we had the middle zone champion, the 3-time zonal champion, the KNUST in waiting for these 2 institutions. It is going to be exciting. It's going to be full of fireworks. It is going to be full of academic violence. But you know I love academic violence, so I'm all geared up for it. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being part of this contest. It's been an exciting one. It's been the Tertiary Business Science Challenge. This has been the Middle Zone. It's been brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. Our sponsors, before I leave, include MTN, PwC Gold Ghana, Piva Beverages Glyco Life Compu Ghana, as well as GCB Bank. The program streamed live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Our media partners, Daily Graphic and Graphic Online. On behalf of my technical team, led by Madam Yvonne Ayi, Stella, David Abel, Felix, and everyone at backstage who ensured that we had a very good contest. Ladies and gentlemen, until I see you again in our next contest, which happens to be the zonal final. My name once again is Al Hassan Yusuf Traore. And of course, I love academic violence. I'll see you some other time. Bye-bye for now. Audience is ready. Studio audience, I must say, are gingered up. Last quarterfinal contest for day 1 is upon us. To Mudaraba and Musharaka in Islamic finance. I asked you to state and explain. You haven't explained. I want you to explain the points that you have mentioned. Join me as we want to experience some academic violence this afternoon. Team Gamma, 8 members with individual coding speed of 11 tasks per day, operate at 80% efficiency. Determine how many days each team will take to complete the project. Back if you should lose this one. A place at the semi-final is what is at stake. You are tempted to score. Bonus for Central University. On that note, we come to the end of round 4A, ladies and gentlemen. Next set of question, University of Education, Winneba. The 2024 edition of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge has finally come to an end. How do you assess your own performance? My name is Al Hassan Yusuf Traore, and I welcome you all. Hassan Yusuf Traore, and I love academic violence.
This means a lot. We are super excited. They've really shown professionalism.
Improve the experience and compliance.
Yes, that is correct.
Champions who have held the trophy for more than 365 days.
You said you used to test hypothesis.
T-test.
No, please.
Radio frequency identification.
Yes. My name is Al Hassan Yusuf Traore, and I love academic violence.